What's up, DC fans and film enthusiasts? I am Alex Figueroa, and welcome to Geeks and Flix. Today, we're up to the third film in my DC live-action retro rewind. We're up to the year 1978, and the film is Superman the movie, starring Christopher Reeve and Margot Kidder, and of course, Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. Now, what did I think of this film, putting it on after 2 years? Because the last time I seen it is when we reviewed it for the Action Movie Guys podcast. I'll talk about that in a little bit. What did I think of it? Well, putting it on after 2 years, I watched the theatrical cut. There are other cuts of this film. Now, if you see over here, I have the 3-hour cut of Superman the movie. Then there's another version of it. And then, of course, you have the theatrical cut and, of course, the 4K version of the film. I saw the theatrical cut. I'm not a big fan of this film. Now, even growing up, my favorite one out of the Christopher Reeves was Superman 2. That's my favorite one, to be honest with you. Now, when it comes to this film, it does leave a mark in cinema history with, of course, Richard Donner version of Superman. I'm okay with that. I'm cool with that. In terms of the film, I thought the film was okay. Honestly, it's pure okay. I wasn't too crazy with it. Certain things I didn't like about the film. Some things I enjoyed and I love. I think the score in this movie is still phenomenal. When Christopher Reeve changes into Superman, you get giddy. I don't know, something about Christopher Reeve as Superman that brings this film to life. And I loved it. I thought it was pretty cool. The plot of the film for me didn't work as much. I didn't care as much for the plot, but I thought it worked for what they had in 1978. Again, the film at its best, I thought it was good. I don't think it was great, and I don't even think it was perfect. But again, don't shoot me because I am not a big Superman fan. I'm more of a Batman fan. So when it comes to Superman movies, I'm very iffy. Some of them I like a lot. Like I said, I enjoy Superman 2 from the Christopher Reeves more than the other films. I'm not going to get into the other Superman movies because we are going to review them here. But I will just say this. There are some that I like that people don't like. I will say that. But in terms of this movie, I thought it was good. All right, so let's get to the plot of the film. All right, because this plot, it was actually kind of weird. So it's an origin movie, all right? It's a Superman origin movie. But then the second plot of this film, of course, is Lex Luthor has this scheme of buying up all this useless land. Then he tries to activate the California fault line, all right? So he tries to destroy it. He sends missiles, and Superman has to save one of the other missiles. And then, of course, havoc erupts. He activates the fault line, and then, of course, the land that he brought will become now more profitable. He becomes rich because that's the only land that people could buy. Now, let's get to the pros of the film, right? The pros for me, Christopher Reeves as Superman. He is such the charisma oozes out this guy, all right, in the suit. I think he's great as Superman. I think he looks like Superman. Clark Kent, I don't think anyone so far yet played Clark Kent the way Christopher Reeves did it. I don't know. To me, I think this is the perfect balance between the superhero and the secret identity. I think Christopher Reeves does it in a well way because there's a scene in the movie that he is Clark Kent. Margot Kidder goes into the bathroom or something to change, and he takes off his glasses, and then all of a sudden he changes his posture and he becomes Superman. And it's just like a little thing like that is such an amazing, like a little trick to do. And I thought it worked. I thought he's great. I love him. I'm going to get me a statue of Christopher Reeves to throw back there with my other DC statues. But again, no one could top Christopher Reeves as Clark Kent or Superman. Now, Margot Kidder as Lois Lane. I like her. I don't think anyone yet came across Lois Lane as Margot Kidder because I think she brought a little spunk to her. I thought she was really good. I thought she has like the smoking. She can't spell. You know, she's very strong woman figure for Superman. That's why he falls in love with her in this film. Lovable. She's cute. So like for me, Margot Kidder hits every checkpoint for me as Lois Lane. Whereas Phyllis, I forgot her name, but her name was like Phyllis Grace something from the Superman and the Mole Man. If you guys have not checked out that review, there's a link above. Lois Lane was just a generic character. This one felt like the Lois Lane that you read in the comics, right? And then you got the Amy Adams, which we're going to talk about that in another timeline universe type DCEU version of Lois Lane. But I like Margot Kidder. I thought she was really good. Now, Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor. There is no one that will ever come close to this dude as Lex Luthor. I know they have new ones in this new James Gunn version of Superman. I'll wait to see how that version is. But so far, Gene Hackman is Lex Luthor. I love him. He's super smart. He's super genius. He freaking figured out kryptonite like by putting two to two together. I loved it. I thought he was really good. Now, I know everyone's going to say Michael Rosenbaum as Lex Luthor in the Smallville universe. I will say yes in the TV format. I would love to see Michael Rosenbaum. Now he's older. I would love to see him do the Lex Luthor, but they still not giving this guy a chance to do it, which I still don't get why TV show actors can't do the movies when they played them. And I think he did a hell of a job as Lex Luthor in Smallville. Special effects, I got to give it a pro because the special effects looks light years from Superman in the moment. I thought it looked great. Christopher Reeve looked like he's flying. I know he's behind the green screen, but there's just certain iconic shots that he does. The scene that he flies to get Lois Lane and the helicopter, that thing is always etched in my mind as a kid because it is dope. The helicopter falls, he grabs her, and then he's holding one hand and then he's pulling it up, and then you see the green screen like look like he's going up a building. Oh, phenomenal. And then you got the CGI that looks horrible when he's running next to a train. That doesn't work. But let me tell you, there's certain shots in this film that looks great and fun. I think the special effects worked very well. Richard Donner did a hell of a job here. Last but not least, let me tell you on the pros. John Williams' score is the best let me just say it again. The best superhero score that there is right now. I know everyone loves their Hans Zimmer. I know all of that. But I gotta say, when you hear the violins stroke, the din, 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 I don't know what it is. I know it's about to hit the fan. You know Superman is coming. I love it. The way it's just, I don't know. There's something about John Williams' score in this movie that makes it just so epic. It is so dynamic. And I'm you know what? Let's just do it. When you just hear this. See what I mean? You want to run through buildings. You want to pick up mountains. You want to run through a burning fire. You want to find a cat on top of a tree for a little girl. I'm telling you, that score makes you want to do it. It's just so epic and amazing. I wish they could play it more in movies, but again, not many people want to because this is tied to the Richard Donner version. It kind of sucks because I think all Superman movies should rock this soundtrack. All right, now let's get to the cons because there are some cons for me, okay? And don't shoot the messenger, okay? Number one, the length of the film is 2 hours and 23 minutes, okay? That is pretty lengthy for this type of film. Now, like I said, there's a 3-hour cut that adds an additional 40 minutes. And let me tell you, I never wanted to touch it. And I seen it as a kid, this third 3-hour version, and I did it for the AMG podcast. And I remember I did not want to go back to it again. Let me tell you, 42 minutes into this film is just straight origin Superman, and I was bored. I was bored, and I'm not lying to you. I was bored. I thought it dragged. I did not give two craps about Krypton. Jor-El in his aluminum foil suits. I don't know. You know what it is? Me and Marlon Brando, I don't know if there's something about him that I'm not a big fan of Marlon Brando. I feel like Jor-El in this film, whereas Russell Crowe's version, I enjoyed the Russell Crowe version of Jor-El for some reason. This one, I don't know if it's because it's from that time period. I don't watch much Marlon Brando stuff, but I didn't feel it. I almost fell asleep 3 times in the first 42 minutes of this film. I'm not lying to you guys. I almost knocked out. I thought it was just boring. Him landing on Earth, iconic. I get it. Awesome. But I felt like this 42 minutes could have been condensed into 15 minutes and we would have been on we go with the movie. And I think it would have been good. But this was a chunk of a film that I thought just dragged and I was freaking bored. What do I rate this movie? Right? What would I give this movie out of a 5? Well, I'm going to give this a 3 out of a 5. I thought it was a good film. I kind of lowered it from my podcast when me and Nate did a full review on it because honestly, I don't gravitate to this movie a lot. And that's the thing. Like, I feel like 4s and 5s are movies that to me are replay value where I could go back and I could watch it over and over. I'm going to tell you honest, the last time I seen this movie was 2 years ago when we did the AMG podcast episode and we did the entire Christopher Reeve and Superman films breakdown reviews. And I don't think I could go back and watch this movie. Unless my kids want to see it, then great, but I don't see myself gravitating and throwing Superman 1. So I gave this a 3 out of a 5. Look, if you want to hear a full take on Superman the movie, then search for Action Movie Guys podcast. Anywhere you listen to your podcast on, me and Nate did a full breakdown of the first film, the second film, the third film. We did the entire Superman catalog on the Action Movie Guys podcast. That is episode 129. Start from there. And then, of course, guys, subscribe, leave us a rating because that will help us greatly in terms of the podcast run. So thank you so much for that. But again, leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts on Superman the movie from 1978. Would you want to see this again? Would you skip it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Just leave a comment down below and I would love to talk Superman with you guys down there. But remember to like, share, and subscribe. Join me as I continue the DC Live watch through every Wednesday and check out Nate's new release films every Friday. Again, till next time, keep the reels rolling and geek out.